Hi, host. Welcome back to BlueTube.
Is that your intro?
Hey, host. Welcome back to BlueTube. I'm Beth.
I'm Reeves.
And today, we're going to be doing our ranked, favorite to least favorite Pixar movies.
Can we start at the least favorite and go up? That way it's more suspense for what's top.
So it's what is...
We're going to start at
favorite.
the absolute lowest of the lows and go our way up. But Toy Story 4 is not included because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen Toy Story 4. And it wasn't on the...
Yeah, we used a tier list.
And it wasn't on there.
I'll put the link to the tier list down below so that you can follow along and make your own tier list. Let's get it started. Beth, your absolute lowest of the low. Hit it!
Well, first I'm going to start with, two of these movies that he's probably going to talk about at some point that I won't bring up are The Good Dinosaur and Cars 3. Both of them I've seen very short pieces of, but I've never seen the whole thing enough to give it a ranking.
Okay.
Because I fell asleep while we watched both of them at some point in time, or came in at the very end of it. So my lowest of the low are WALL-E and Brave.
Okay, Brave I understand, because it's also my lowest of the low, but WALL-E,
I've just never been able to get into it. I just don't like it.
I'll talk about why I like WALL-E, but what is it that you don't like about WALL-E?
I just don't like the whole vibe of it. The whole dystopian, whatever, they're robots in space, but the humans, it's just, I never mesh with it really well.
It's like all the memes about America times the world.
Yeah, and I just never liked it. As a kid, I didn't really, now I like it a little bit more, but it's still not really one of my favorite. If it comes on, I'm not going to sit down and watch it. I'll find something else to watch.
You'd rather find something else instead of WALL-E.
If I was sitting down at home with my parents watching TV and WALL-E was on, I would, get the remote and turn it to something else. I would not watch WALL-E.
That's so frustrating to me. But I know my second answer is going to be really frustrating to you.
Yeah.
So, bottom of the bottom, Brave, no question. Do we need to say why we don't like Brave?
It's my least favorite.
You can't understand half of what they say.
Yeah, and this is coming from me, and I'm Irish.
And there's just so much about the bears, and
it's just a lot to follow, and it's just the storyline, as far as graphics and stuff.
Yep.
As far as the actual look of the movie, it's a really, in my opinion, good-looking movie.
Yeah.
But as far as following the storyline and being a part of that, it's just not something that I've ever really...
See, I understand that it takes a lot of ancient Irish lore and stuff, but aside from the one scene where she's I'll be shooting from my own hand and rips her dress and stuff because she's an archer, there's nothing.
It just doesn't
got it.
How do you go from that to turning your mother into a bear?
She turned her into a bear.
Yeah, that just never made sense to me. It's okay, she's trying to fight for her own hand. That's really cool. That's something I could follow. And then all of a sudden it's my mom's a bear? Where do you go?
She wanted to change her fate. So anyways, aside from Brave being the lowest of the lowest, my second lowest is A Bug's Life. Because I never watched it as a kid, and if you didn't watch it as a kid, you ain't gonna like it. See, so if I did watch it as a kid, it wasn't anything that was significant enough to me to have nostalgia attached to it. Mm-hmm. So when we got Disney Plus, big shout out Disney, hit me up if you want to collab.
Disney Plus.
You just got
Disney Plus.
They're always listening. Also, Nick is off camera in case anyone was curious.
I'm listening to music in the background.
But I watched it for the first time where I could actually remember it and understand what's going on, and there's nothing to it. It's not even a one-scene movie because there ain't no good scenes that make the movie. So, that hits it all the way down here. If you're mad, fight me in the comments. I'll
fight you right now.
I'll fight you right now, bro. So anyways, what's your next one?
So we're going to the next tier.
Okay. So this is your B tier.
This is my B tier. So for those of you following, from bottom to top, it goes D tier, C tier, B tier, A tier, S tier. Confusing.
S for superior.
Superior,
Supreme.
Yeah. So my B tier consists of Finding Dory, Ratatouille, Incredibles 2, and Monsters University.
Terrible opinion. Terrible opinion.
Okay.
Let's see. So now for me, I'm already on my C tier. Or I guess I'm only on my C tier trying to catch up. That's where I've got Ratatouille. That's where I've got The Good Dinosaur. And that's where I've got Coco.
I could fight so hard.
Go ahead. What are you upset about? Ratatouille ain't nothing.
Ratatouille I understand because if I didn't utilize I probably would have put Ratatouille with C tier, but I still rank it higher than Brave and Wall-E.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
just my own personal thing.
Except
but
for
Ratatouille,
the Wall-E.
like Ratatouille, I never watched it a lot as a kid. And so when I did finally watch it, I was like, this is kind of weird. And then I really started getting into I started thinking about food and stuff. And when I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cute. Like it's a little rat trying to find himself in the kitchen. Because me growing up, I didn't cook a lot. And then all of a sudden my parents were like,
yeah, figure it out.
Figure it out and cook for yourself. And so I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, this is really cute. Like he's helping the person. But I understand why you would put that lower.
See, I understand the message of anyone can cook and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
what's the scene of the movie that stands out and makes it really mean something? You know, because at the end of the day, it's just rats in a kitchen.
And that's
But I'll tell you, that ratatouille that they make at the very end, I want to try it. I don't even know what ratatouille really is, but I want to try it.
It's literally vegetables just baked in tomato sauce. I'm pretty sure that's all it is.
Alright, maybe I don't want to try
thinly
it.
sliced vegetables put in a dish with tomato sauce on top, roasted in the oven, and then plated for you.
Yeah, I don't think that's for me.
And it's random vegetables. It's tomatoes, zucchini, eggplant.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever tried an eggplant.
Eggplant is actually decent. I've only ever had it fried because I'm from South Carolina. It's almost like a big zucchini or squash. It's almost
what do either of those taste like?
kind of just soft, kind of plain tasting.
It tastes like soft?
Yeah, it's just soft.
No, I understand completely. Tastes like soft. Moving on. The Good Dinosaur, there ain't nothing to it. I mean, what if the asteroid missed? Cool. I guess. Dinosaurs do farming. I think they farm potatoes. Potatoes are cool. It goes back with Brave. That's what brings it down. It reminds me of Brave.
Yeah.
But The Good Dinosaur, it's probably the most friendly of the Pixar movies, where it's just that's a good kids movie.
Any kid could sit in front of it and watch.
But the thing about Pixar that I've always liked, and I think a lot of people do, is usually there's enough of a story that the adults can be that's good.
They do a very good job of putting in bits of humor and information that adults can stay into it, but it's childlike enough where the kids are
yeah.
Dinosaur.
And I think that's why Pixar appeals to everyone.
Yeah.
But The Good Dinosaur really only has kid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say The Good Dinosaur is most people's lowest.
Yeah, I feel that.
I feel
was
The
one
Good
that
Dinosaur
was
is something
not
that a lot
very-
of people didn't even go see.
Yeah, it was all the time you see merchandise out in stores for all of these movies, and it felt like I saw A Good Dinosaur for the week before it was put out, and then the week after, and then you never saw anything from it again.
You'll still see kids that go dressed up as Woody and Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story.
Yeah,
but who's going as the little cave kid from The Good Dinosaur?
Exactly.
Or as the dinosaur?
Frozen, I get isn't a Pixar movie, but even before Frozen 2 came out, before Frozen 2 was even advertised and stuff, they were still selling Frozen merchandise in Target and in stores all throughout everywhere.
And you might see a Good Dinosaur t-shirt every now and then, but when you do, it's just a kid one. There's not plush toys that get sold around and stuff like that.
It's just, it wasn't as prioritized as many of the other Pixar movies are.
I'm assuming Coco is what you can fight me on.
Coco is something I could fight you on.
I want to hear why. What makes Coco good? Tell me.
I want to, since mine's ranked higher,
Okay.
I'll tell you why it's so good when
we get to it. Okay.
So you tell me why you do not think it's very good.
Alright, first of all, fair warning. We're on a low battery. We might switch the cameras. We might. Who knows? Maybe we'll just quit. You never know. Keep watching and find out. But Coco ain't good because it's just the story of wow, family is important. It has good music, and that's all it has. You have one really good scene at the very end when he's singing to his grandma, and after that, done.
Okay.
That's all you get. And like, it's cool that they have like the spirit guides, and like the dog that's really stupid is a spirit guide in disguise, and he has little wings. That's cool. I'm all for little wings. That dog is stupid. I'm all for little wings. But that's all the movie is. There's nothing that makes it stand out that I'm gonna be, like in 5 years, if I haven't watched Coco, I'm not gonna remember it.
That's one thing that I think. This is one bit of information I will put in. I feel like it is a movie that strategically kind of almost goes to girls. Like girls like it more because of the music and because of the storyline. Because most girls are like, oh, family, and boys are like, I would love to watch a movie of animated cars talking about their lives.
I do like cars. That's a fact.
I know that different movies affect different people, but I feel like Coco was a movie that, in a way, couldn't be more based towards, like, a female demographic. Not trying to be sexist or whatever.
You are, but it's okay.
But, like, do you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I just feel like that's something that's just my kind of look on it, because, as you'll see, my opinion of Coco is way different than Reeves. Okay, so go over your C tier.
Okay, so my C tier, I've got Up, Finding Dory, Incredibles 2, and then Inside Out. What? Which of these has offended you?
Like 4 of them.
Okay, I'll start from the beginning. Up, it's a one-scene movie.
That is not true.
It is. It's a one-scene movie and a lot of quotes from Doug. And that's it. You have the opening scene where it's super sad. Everyone cried. If you say you didn't, you're a liar.
You're a liar.
That's fine. It's okay. We don't have to be grips and tell the truth. It's fine. But after that, that's it. And then you just get quotes from Doug for the rest of the movie. Tell me what about the movie makes it stand out apart from something like Finding Dory that has the same kind of family ties story.
Alright, what are you talking about over there?
I'm talking about Up being a one-scene movie.
Alright, wait, what tier is it in?
He has it in his C tier.
Because it's only a one-scene movie. How am I going to put it higher when it's just that one really good scene and then a whole bunch of just quotable ones? Welcome, Nick, to the video.
Where is that?
This is mine.
You put... Alright, wait. Oh, this is yours? Where's yours?
It's on my phone, but
Oh, well,
I have
that's
Up,
awkward.
Finding Dory, Incredibles 2, and Inside Out.
In C?
Yeah, those are my C's.
What's Cars 2 in?
That's in my D.
Oh, thank God. Alright, Up is at least a B.
Wait, Oh, this is my B.
I'm
caught up. I was wrong this whole time because I forgot we don't have an F tier.
I can't.
If we did have an F tier, Brave, Bugs, and Car 2 would all be an F tier.
Brave is not that bad. It's okay.
Are you sure about that?
It's okay.
Alright, so. Well, that's my B tier.
So, we are on B tier.
Apparently. My bad. I see I've messed up. That's okay.
fine.
I acknowledge it.
So
Go ahead and talk about your first B one.
So my B tier is Finding
Wait, just
Dory.
go beat by beat, and then we'll.
Okay, so Finding Dory.
Okay, I have it in B too. I just feel like
I feel like
I don't think it carries over as strong, and I don't think the new characters get added are significant enough that it could be like continued on.
yeah.
But I do like Destiny. I think she's funny. She's blind,
I like the story.
Like
and I
you.
Like,
but she doesn't have glasses, so.
she is a whale.
Well, I mean, she has a whale that helps her. What's his name? Norman? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Norman's cool. He's cool in my book.
Like, I think that this movie would have been... I don't know what it is about it. Like, I like it. I think it's a really good movie. But I feel like Finding Nemo didn't have to have, like, us... I feel like if it was about just some fish. Like, it didn't have to be Dory.
Really, like, I understand why you would explore Dory more, but I'm not sure if she needed to be the main character and get this much of her backstory explained.
I feel like Becky should have been the main character.
Honestly, Becky Ruru, my favorite character from the movie.
Or
Although I do
Gerald.
like... No, those two seals that just sit on the rock all day and they're just mean to Gerald, that's quality.
That's like Nick and Reeves with me.
Yeah.
I'm Gerald.
I can't lie. I like my rock. So, what's your next one for B?
Ratatouille.
What made you put it up so high for B?
What made me put it up so high for B is because, I don't know, it's one that I'm kind of like on the fence about.
Okay,
Like when I was younger, I was like, it's a movie about a rat in a kitchen.
So
and
is this
now
like
I'm
the bottom
okay,
of your
this
B?
Yeah, this is like my low B.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to rank them within each tier.
Yeah, of course.
And so I'm kind of like looking, and I'm like, So Ratatouille, because like, I used to not really like it. Like it wasn't something that I was like, it's a rat cooking in a kitchen. That's But now it's like, okay,
that's why it's my 4th of all time.
Yeah, I was like, I can see where it's like a good movie. Like it's just different. Like I'd never seen anything really like it before.
Yeah.
Like there aren't many movies that kind of go along the same idea as like multiple, like it's still family ties like Pixar likes to do, but it's just different. It's a different outlook at it. It's like, it's just, I guess that would be the key word since I've said it at least 47 times.
Outlook.
It's different.
As an outlook. So, next up for mine, this is now, if you're keeping count at home, from the bottom up, this will be my 9th, and it's Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2 is also probably my 7th from the bottom.
7th from the bottom. So, here's my thing about Incredibles 2, right? Like, I didn't care about the villain. I just didn't care.
It was, like, in my opinion, the most predictable movie I've ever watched in my life. Like I
don't know about the most, but like
I immediately knew who the bad guy was. I immediately knew like what was going on.
I like the reveal of her being the bad guy. You have that little bit of a misdirect where it's like they take it off and it's someone else. You're like, oh, maybe we're gonna get this fleshed out. Just a pizza guy. And as soon as he was like, I'm just a pizza guy, I was like, not him.
Yeah.
And, like, she just seemed like a bad guy the whole time, you know?
Yeah, like they didn't like.
I'm so sorry. I just got blasted by volume. I hadn't really turned up. Alright, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna cut this part out.
Alright, thank God.
I just didn't care about the villain.
Yeah, like sometimes it's, you know, you always kind of have like a suspicion like, oh, this is probably the bad guy, but usually they try and like play it off and make it seem like they're not.
Yeah.
But this one, like, she was just like
obvious
the whole time. Like
I do like the backstory of the villains, like the whole where it was like, well, the parents called the supers to save them instead of the police.
Like the kid.
I think that was neat.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this whole idea that this woman was like, well, my mom and dad tried to rely on supers to save them, and now they're dead, so I'm gonna take over the world. I was like, wait, what?
Huh?
Like if her goal was like, her goal is like to make supers illegal, but like, that, what?
Yeah, like
I just don't see the train of thought of like, well, if these supers would have been illegal, then my mom and dad would have called the police, except the dad was really close with the supers, so even if they were illegal, he'd probably still have those phones, so he'd probably still try to call them.
Yeah. I know.
I'm gonna
say it, and you can disagree with me if you want to. Incredibles didn't need to have a second. They would have been okay just leaving it just the first Incredibles. I know that we all saw it at the end of the first movie and we're like, there's going to be a second one. But it just didn't meet the expectations that I had set for it as a little kid.
Have you ever seen all of the like stuff online where people say basically what Incredibles 2 should have been?
I haven't seen any of that.
So basically they're saying that Dash should have been the bad guy. Because the whole idea is that Dash always wanted to use his powers, and he kept being told, like, no, you can't be special, you can't be super, you have these powers, but you have to hide it. It's kind of like how in Frozen Elsa's like, you just gotta conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. But now they know. Whatever. And, like, the idea is that they keep holding down Dash, and then he realizes, like, no one can stop me.
I have these powers. Okay.
Yeah. It's not like Dash like gets his powers by getting zapped by lightning. He's literally born with it.
Yeah.
So the idea was always that he's the bad guy, and what ends up helping in the end is that realization of family. Because, you know, it's Pixar family, of course.
Of course.
So then it's one of those things where it's like his family's able to help him. And I feel like that would have been a more understandable and justifiable villain. See,
Yeah.
like, a lot of the times the thing about the villains in like really good movies where the villain is like you can understand where they're coming from. You're like, yeah, I don't agree.
In the first Incredibles.
Yeah, like
that kid just wanted to be Mr. Incredible's little sidekick, and he constantly said no and was really mean to him, so he became a bad guy.
Syndrome's whole thing in the first one is that he's like, no one should be better than someone else. Like, you thought you were better than me. I tried to be good, and you wouldn't let me, so I became bad.
Mm-hmm.
And his idea is that, like, if everyone's super and no one will be, then all of a sudden you have to actually stand out because of your personality. And I don't think that's such a bad thing. We should all stand out because of our personalities instead of our physical things we're born with.
Exactly.
Maybe Syndrome's right.
Syndrome for president.
Syndrome, if you're watching this, man, hit me up. I
Man,
got some
hit me
idea.
up, bro.
Oh wait, he flew into a plane. Capes. I think Edna's the best character in The Incredibles.
Absolutely.
Her or Jack.
Exactly. That was the one part of the second movie that I absolutely adored was Edna and Jack's like scenes together.
Oh yeah.
Those were by far the greatest. Because
if that would have been the movie, A tier.
It would have been. I feel like there should be an Edna Mode movie.
I don't know about a movie, but you know, so.
But like a short.
Like one of those shorts that they do before the movies that get to like 7 minutes,
just like
where it's just them trying out all these different things.
And Edna learning how to like take care of Jack.
Oh, I'd love it.
I
That'd
think
be awesome.
that would be exceptional.
That'd be awesome.
That would
I'd
win
love that.
an award, like in my book.
Yeah.
That would be S tier.
S.
Like what's above S tier?
S plus Z.
I feel like you go straight from S to Z.
Obviously, you go D to S, S to Z. Duh.
Exactly.
All right. So after Incredibles 2, this is coming up on mine now. Number 10 from the bottom. I've got Inside Out. And I know, like, for a while, that was the big movie, and people loved it. But I'll tell you the truth, aside from the message that... I guess the message is you have to be sad sometimes to be happy, I guess. Like, your emotions need to work together. But, like, I don't think there was enough actual development of any of the feelings or the emotions or for the characters in it, like Riley, that you really had some big takeaway. The only actual growth of a character you get, well, Bing Bong, dies. So that's a change. But then Joy learns to work with sadness, and that's it. That's the only real change you get. And I guess Joy's a little bit less controlling. Joy's kind of a bitch.
I think that's kind of the point.
Oh, of course. Happy people are usually bitches.
No, that's not it.
Well,
that's not what I meant.
Apparently the message has gone over my head at this point. So what's up next for you?
Okay, so in my...
I see what's next and I'm mad.
No, this is not like in a specific order.
You haven't finished your B tier. You have that last one.
Oh, Monsters Universe.
I'm mad!
Why?
That's so good!
Oh my
Go
god.
ahead, I'll talk about it.
Oh, it's in your like S tier?
Yes, it's my S tier by far.
Okay.
I'll talk about it. Go on.
I thought it was really cute, and it gave really good insight about like Monsters University or Monsters Inc. Because like Mike and Sully are together in Monsters Inc. and they're co-workers and best friends and they live together and all that kind of fun stuff.
There is one thing I think, and I might be wrong. So commenter that knows more than me, can go ahead and roast me in the comments. In Monsters Inc., don't they say they've been friends since 4th grade?
I think you might actually be right.
I don't know if that's just like some weird, Nick, what's the name of that like conspiracy theory where everyone thought we were in parallel universes? Like the Bearstein Bears and stuff.
Are you talking about like as far as mutants theory on relativity?
No, I'm talking about that conspiracy. The Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So I don't know if it's just some Mandela effect or I remember that or if it really happened, but I remember that.
Wait, what are you talking about?
In Monsters Inc., does Mike Wazowski not say to Sully that they've been friends since 4th grade?
No, I don't think so.
But I feel like I remember that.
I thought it was like we've been friends since college or something like that.
Oh my god, it might
Did you
be.
say? Are you sure you didn't say we've been friends since first year, or like
No.
4th year or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You see the problem.
I see the problem.
We're gonna cut out the majority of all this bickering between us. Don't worry. How long were Mike and Sully married? Wait a minute. Oh, wait a damn second. What did I miss in the movie? In real life. In Monster Jam.
How long is Mike? Okay. Okay, this says.
Yeah, it says it was been since the 4th grade.
It says this was a jest. You've been jealous of my good looks since 4th grade, pal. This was just a jest, but I want to know if 4th grade. Okay, so basically.
Oh, that's so stupid.
That's so weird.
So basically, yes, we were right. He says that, or something along those lines. And then the directors were like, college.
Yeah, and they tried because they wanted to see how the relationship grew.
You know, I guess you could have just put like one scene in there where they're like, now that they're friends, even at the very end where they're in the mailroom, you could have just had one scene where like Sully finds a picture of Mike for whatever reason. He's like, whoa, now look at this stud muffin, and Mike like takes it and he's like, yeah, I've been looking good since the 4th grade, and then boom.
There you go. You have that immediate. Not where we're sitting here thinking that we're crazy.
Well, like, wait a minute. Apparel news.
Apparently.
So take that, Nick.
Bottom.
So anyways, I guess it's on me now. So now we're in A tier for both of us, which is pretty lit that we made it. I've got Toy Story 1 as the next one. And like, I know that's kind of low. Ew. I know that's kind of low for Toy Story 1, because that's like the Pixar movie.
Like when you think of Pixar.
That's the one. That's what started on. That's what got them going.
Yeah.
But here's where I'll like argue it, and I think I'm right. I think Toy Story 1 serves only as really a building block. Because like you get a good standalone story.
Yeah.
But really Toy Story 1, because of how this is all ranked and going against each other, the standalone story doesn't hold up as well as it being a building block, so that you can only see that developing friendship between Woody and Buzz. It's kind of like how in Monsters University they start out as adversaries and then they become friends, except Toy Story just does it with toys. But I think what makes Toy Story stronger than, like, say something like, I don't know, Up, for example, is that Toy Story left itself open with a different kind of relationships it can build between the characters that it could go on to a sequel. We're never going to have an Up 2.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't. Pixar, if you're watching, please. Please never.
Unless you run it by me first.
No.
Because I'm the #1 Up fan in the world.
I don't know about that. So anyways, what's next for you?
So, up next for me is probably going to be Cars 2.
That's really high for Cars 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Honestly, I just found Cars 2. I don't really know what it is about it. Okay. Those were always movies that me and my brothers would watch together. Mm-hmm. Like those were the movies that my older brothers would sit down and watch with me, because being the little sister, way older brothers don't want to sit down. But I just liked the idea of it. It was something so different. Like, that was part of it for me. Like, the little bits of Cars 3 I saw, I didn't really enjoy. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is just too different. But Cars 2, it was like, okay, they took the great storyline, they brought back the characters, they made it just something different that I really hadn't seen before, and it was kind of something that I didn't expect. Like, I know that a lot of people really don't like Cars 2.
I'm about to explain why here in a second.
But I just thought it was something that was really innovative and really different.
Okay, so I totally agree. It was totally different, and it was a super different feel. And that's the problem. Mm. So the premise of Cars, the reason it was so cool is because it was like, these are real jobs really happening, and it makes sense to have the storyline of the humbled young upstart racer. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a movie you've pretty much, it's more of like it's kind of like Talladega Nights. the basic story of it. You know, you get maybe a little bit more of a PG feel.
It's a very PG vibe.
But here's the thing, right? Like, you know how we were saying Dory maybe wasn't the one that needed her own spinoff? Mater wasn't the one who needed his own spinoff. And I love me some Larry the Cable Guy. I love being able to say, get her done. You ain't a or you might be a redneck. Blah blah blah.
Anyway, continue. That's just
blah blah blah.
Anyway.
All the usuals, as you know, Larry the Cable Man does.
Cable Guy.
But like, that ran its course really fast, and you don't have. What made Mater work in the first is Lightning working with him.
Yeah.
They bounced off of each other in a way that was like, okay, he's kind of annoying, but Lightning's doing really good, and you have the whole story of Lightning being humbled, so it makes sense that someone like Mater to do it. But Mater going around to different countries, accidentally fixing the world, avoiding a major crisis, figuring out the problem the entire time, and being a super spy doesn't work.
That was just something that was what I really liked about it, because I just loved Mater. Like, I guess that's just where we differed.
Maybe, but like, I just think it's too much Mater for its own good.
Yeah.
Mater had way more lines than Lightning McQueen, by far. I mean, Mater is the bulk of the movie.
Lightning McQueen basically just raced.
Yeah, just in the background.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Finding Dory's weaker to me, or it's stronger than Cars 2 because it has more of a sustainable plot. But it's similar because like you fell for Nemo and I want to say Norman, but I don't even know if that's right. I think it's right. Norman, the dad. Marlin. God, I knew I was close. But anyways, like you fell in love with them. You didn't fall in love with Dory. The reason Dory worked is because she had Marlin, who is such a polar opposite for her to work with.
Yeah. And
you don't get that in Cars 2 because you got the super smart spy, Mater. I just don't think it works. But
to each their own.
Whatever you say.
To each their own.
Yeah, whatever.
To each their own.
So next up for me, I've got The Incredibles, the first one.
Okay.
And I tell you, Incredibles 1, that's a movie right there. That's one that does the family exploration that they want to do. It does it well. I mean, it really does. And like I was saying earlier, that whole thing with Dash being like, I'm being held back, I can do so much more. I think that does really good at capturing. Because when you're a kid, you're like, I can do that. I can do anything.
This is actually my next one as well.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. I mean, that's just one of those where it. I can't say
it's
enough.
It's just like the family dynamic. Like it shows what an actual family is like, but then gives them superpowers. So it's like Jack's a baby. You don't know what he's gonna be. You don't know how he is. And then there's Dash who has his powers, and he's like, I want to use my powers, and the parents are like, whoa there, buddy, you're just a kid. Calm it down a little bit. And then there's Violet who's just like, I'm a sad teenager.
Gotta love that.
Gotta love it. And then there's the parents that are like world renowned, but it's like here they are.
And I think
with kids.
I think it does so well because like Helen does the sacrifice really well. Elastigirl to be like, this is for our kids, is what's best for them. But I also think you get so much of the story of Mr. Incredible, how he was the man, like he was the guy, and now he's just a guy.
Late to their wedding.
Yeah, he was. But think about it, like imagine if you were the biggest name in America and then had to go into hiding, no one could know, and you're just an average guy selling insurance.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a thing where it was his ego, even though his ego did drive him. He actually, in the first one, really wanted to do good.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, and it's one of the reasons it's lower down on mine, they make him very, like, conceited, where he's like, this is for me, this is going to be good for me.
He's like a pouty kid, he's like, I'm going to be on TV.
I want to be a superhero.
Why can't I be number one again? Why does it have to be my wife?
But in the first one, he wants to do good, but also he gets a rush from it, which makes sense, because, like, gets a rush from it. You know, he's going into buildings, jumping out while carrying people, and then he's like, "Oh, what a rush!" Because he's a superhero. He can do that.
He's that guy.
And I think they really capture the like dynamic between them really well.
Yeah, they do an excellent job in that one of what it really means
to be super.
Yeah,
and I think,
like without
I already
it being
talked about
cheesy
Syndrome being good. I think Syndrome, out of all of these, is probably the most justifiable villain.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that.
And that makes he's easily, well, yeah, I'd say he's easily the best villain in all of Pixar.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I
not even.
completely agree
Bar
with that.
none, no close.
Like, out of all the villains, he was kind of like you knew from the beginning something was going to happen with him, but you didn't know what. And then when you found out and you like thought about it, you were like, I'd be mad too.
I mean, I wouldn't be happy if my literal idol was like, go home.
Yeah, like if I walked up to my idol and they were like...
Like, think if you walked up to Justin Bieber and you were like, wow, I want to be a singer just like you when I grew up. And he was like, no, good luck. Get out of here.
Like,
I'd be like, oh.
I'd be like, ow.
And then
that hurt.
Take over the world. Duh. Well, he doesn't even want to take over the world, really.
He just wants to see...
He wants to sell technology and make everyone super so that everyone's on an equal playing field.
Yeah. Because he wasn't a superhero.
No.
He made all of the things that made him like a superhero.
I wonder if he was a superhero and was just super smart.
No, like he was...
you gotta think. He makes an odd, like...
Through the whole
AI
movie, he's like,
system.
look at what I made.
Yeah.
And he's like flying.
When he's a little kid, he makes rocket boots. He makes this, like, artificial intelligence that destroys an entire city, and every time that he gets beaten, it learns, and it gets better at not being beaten. That's a smart cookie. And he only looks like he's, like, 24?
Yeah.
He's kind of like Elon Musk. Elon, if you're watching this,
send us a Tesla truck.
That, and I'll do a review of it. But also, just please don't take over the world, my guy.
We love you, Elon.
It's true. I know that, like,
I don't have
some of your idols, they were mean to you, and they said that you couldn't do it, and it wasn't real science of what you were doing.
But look at you.
But you are a real
You
scientist.
did it.
You matter right here. Never forget that. Please send me
David
a Tesla
Dobrik.
truck.
David Dobrik, if you're watching this.
Who's David Dobrik?
David Dobrik. The vlogger.
Ah, yes, of course.
That gives out, he literally gives his viewers like,
Mr. Beast, if you're watching this. So, next up, this is where I have Monsters, Inc., the first Monsters movie.
Okay.
And so, Monsters, Inc., it's a super cool world, super cool theory about, like, why there's monsters in the closet and everything like that. The door theory and, like, the factory of them working, super cool.
Uh-huh.
My one nitpick on it is, like, we never are shown how good of friends Sully and Mike are, but we're told. And, you know, sometimes you can do the story of telling and not showing,
Mm-hmm.
but then for Sully they're supposed to be such good friends as we're told. Like, they are inseparable, they are the dynamic duo, and then he's like, aw, boo.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a couple points in that movie, they could have really avoided this and just thrown her back in her bed.
They had access to the door the entire time. Why did they like take her?
I get like
and
losing
be like,
her and stuff, and like at first being afraid of her, which I also think is cool, being afraid of the kids.
Yeah.
But as soon as they realize that she's not scary, they should have gone straight to it, got her door, and then when it came, gone in, and then even if they would have gotten caught and Randall would have been like, "What are you doing with my door?" They would have been like, "Is this your kid?" Oh, I guess the files got mixed up. And then you could even have what's her name, Roz or whatever. She's like, "I never mess up paperwork." And then Mike's like, I guess it's on me. My bad. Credits.
Yeah.
And that's the movie. So
Well,
what's next for you?
My next one is actually Toy Story 2.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, go ahead.
It just... I don't know, there was just... It just was not my favorite. Having watched all the first three, I haven't seen the fourth one, but having watched the first three Toy Stories, like, consistently as a kid, it was always like, the second one is just, like, it's my least favorite of the three Toy Stories.
Go ahead. Okay. You want to buy, will you look at that and see what the battery's on?
It's dead.
Is it really?
No, okay.
I'd be like, wow.
It's on. How do I check?
Give it to me.
I can figure this
You
out.
just give it to me.
Alright, I might have lowered the brightness a little bit.
Dude.
We got about an hour left on it.
You're at 28 minutes.
Yeah, I know, it's a long video.
Do you just want to do TJ after tomorrow? Because this will take me a while to edit.
Well, yeah, we'll have to do it around the same time.
That's fine. Okay. Oh, we'll do it after the meeting.
Yeah.
Alright. And we're back. So, next up for me, this is where I've got the. Oh no. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Beth, you're that tall. You can just reach over.
I love.
Wait, sit down. Make sure I want to make sure you're still in frame. Yep, perfect.
And in that moment, we realized how tall Beth really was.
So, next up, this is where I've got the first Cars.
Understandable.
So, to me, the first Cars, like, I already kind of praised it a little bit in talking about why Cars 2 is bad, but it's just like, it's a relatable story and it's understandable, and that's what makes it good.
And the format is just different.
Yeah, it's different. And, like, just the idea of, like, what if these cars were the people? Love it.
Yeah.
And you can just do a lot with it.
Yeah.
I do think it's a little weird, the idea of Lightning riding in Mac the truck. Just because implications?
From the adult.
Yeah.
Never even thought about it like that. Thank you, Reeves.
That's what I'm here for. Go on.
Okay,
To your next one.
my next one is probably gonna be. My next one is Finding Nemo.
Really?
Just
one?
It is.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead. Explain. Defend your answer.
Okay, so basically, my voice got really high pitched.
Basically.
Apparently.
Oh.
Finding Nemo was just one of those movies, like, it's kind of like that classic childhood movie.
Yeah.
Like, you sit down, you turn on the TV, you turn it to Freeform, or back in my day, it was ABC Family.
Back in my day, I put in the VCR.
Yeah, same.
Same.
And it's just like, Finding Nemo. It's that wholesome, cute movie about the dad who's overprotective of his son because he lost, like, his entire family. Except for this
Basically.
one kid. And it was just to me, it's always been that classic cute movie, but there are others to me that are better, but I feel like if this was made like 5 or 6 years ago before some of these movies came out, then Finding Nemo would be like...
S tier for you?
Yeah, like it would
Yeah.
be S tier for me, but it's just because like other movies have come out, I've had different opinions. Finding Nemo is just kind of like that cute movie that is kind of like a classic.
I guess that makes sense. Mine's higher up, in case you haven't noticed from it not being mentioned yet. And I'll explain why it's better than what you think in a minute. But until then, next up, this is actually where I have Toy Story 2. And I know yours is kind of lower down for some reason. But I'll tell you what for me makes it go up to being above some of these that I've already mentioned. And that is actually the one scene of where Woody's getting fixed. When I was a kid, I actually hated that scene. Like, I hated it with a passion. Also, Nick is walking behind the camera really stupid, in case you're wondering why she laughs. But that scene, I don't know why, again, I think it almost gave me anxiety, just because of how, like, detailed they tried to make the guy's face. And I was like, awful, please stop.
Then he paints his eyes, and you're like,
Yeah, he takes, like, the cotton swab onto his eyes, and I'm like, but then,
See,
like,
that was one of my favorite scenes.
it's that one part where he's at the wash and he goes over where it says Andy, and he's like, and I'm
Oh.
like, oh yeah, that's what I like to see. Excuse her while she has to do something more important, like text in a video.
My dad is texting me.
what a rookie.
Rookie, an amateur mistake.
Happy dad.
What was that? You want to make that comment a little louder, Dad?
This was never invited back on TGIF.
No!
So, next up for you.
Monsters Inc.
Okay, yeah.
It just, I love the idea. It's something really unique, like having the monsters scare the kids and that's the fuel for the city. Having the monsters be afraid of the kids because they only ever see the kids when they're sleeping, so when one finally wakes up, it's like,
You know what I've always been curious about?
what?
Like, Randall and Mr. Waterton obviously know the kids aren't, like, toxic or whatever. They're supposed to be, like, venomous, I guess. So, is it something where, like, the elite get to know that they're not? Or is it something where, like, how do they know?
Well, remember...
Are they the ones that do the propaganda? No, because Monsters, Inc. is already there and it's been around for generations in the Waterton
Yeah, but
family.
remember how Mr. Waterton and Randall were in charge of that whole, like, monster thing down in the basement. That's the whole probably premise of it, like, that in and of itself, because you have that part with Mike and Sully being the good team, and all of a sudden they have this kid running around with them, and then you have the whole thing with Randall and Mr. Waterton where they're down in the basement doing all this stuff with all the workers, and it's just like plot, 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 but it's all easy to follow and ends up cohesively working together. And then all of a sudden the abominable snowman is there and he's giving out yellow snow cones. That's
a little interesting, but it's just living.
It's just living.
So next up for me, this is where I've got Wally, and this is mine actually 5th from the very top. I know that you're not a big fan of it, and it's just so cute. It is so adorable. Like, oh my god. I can't even, just everything from Wally having a crush on Eve, the way that the humans are able to rise up against the machines, even though the machines have done nothing to keep them enslaved except for make them fat and happy. The way that they, there's such a love for this tiny plant, and that's all they need is just a tiny plant to be like, we're going back. Although, really, there would not be enough oxygen on that planet from that one tiny plant.
Mm-mm.
They probably just killed it again.
Yeah.
And all that trash is still there. What are they going to do with it? Send it to the moon.
But see, that's another thing where it's I feel like that movie, a lot of boys could, get into that a lot easier.
It's just a little robot.
Because it's like,
robots are
when
cool,
I was a little
you know?
girl, I didn't want to sit in front of the TV and watch an hour and a half, 2 hours about robots. That just wasn't something that was entertaining.
But by that logic, shouldn't I like The Good Dinosaur more? Because The Good Dinosaur, don't get me wrong now, viewers, I love dinosaurs.
I do too.
If you ever want to get me a present, make it something with a dinosaur. I will love you forever.
Same.
If you guys want to send us some...
If you're watching this.
If you guys want to send us some fan mail, dinosaurs.
Some JoJo stuff.
Nick would like JoJo stuff.
Request.
If you can somehow combine the two, maybe a dinosaur stand user,
I can
maybe?
make a dinosaur stand user.
Send it to the P.O. box listed down below.
But
anyways, Wally, of course.
But Wally, well, as I was The Good Dinosaur, that one, as we were saying earlier, I feel like that one's just really based toward kids. That's why I feel like neither one of us put it extremely high. Because I know the little bits that I saw of it, I was like, I cannot get behind this.
Yeah.
Because when y'all were watching it and I came in and I saw it, I watched a good bit of it and I was just like, I don't under it. It was one of the most juvenile.
Yeah, I think, I love whenever they go through and they're like, look, they're like people, but they're not people. In that one, they were dinosaurs. You had some cow rangers, they were kind of like cowboys, and they were tyrannosauruses. That's cool, but you still need to give them some layers for them to be understood as characters.
Layers.
Ogres are like layers. I can't do a Shrek accent.
Donkey.
So anyways.
Anyway, but that's one of my personal reasons for Wally being.
I understand that, but see, you sleep on that one scene in Wally where Eve's already found a plant and she's shut down. She's already shut down and stuff. Wally doesn't get it. Wally, you lovable dummy. He's sitting there and he's trying to hold her hand and her hand slams shut and he's like, ah! That scene alone, A tier.
That would, if I had to pick a favorite scene from Wally, that would probably be it, just because it makes me laugh.
It would be either that or when Wally dies. Just because I like when he comes back and Eve is so excited. Because you get to see Wally so excited and falling in love with her and Eve's like...
But that is one thing that I will give Wally, is they do a very, stand-up job of making these robots have, actual emotions.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing that I do commend Wally on. It's okay, yeah, you have monsters, okay, you have dinosaurs, but it's like robots. How do you convey the feeling of something that's made?
You know what I think, you might disagree, but I think the key to giving something emotions is all in the eyelids.
Mm-hmm. It's very much in the eyes.
I don't know, something about Wally, how his eyes do it and they move around.
Oh, yeah.
But when his eyelids move down, he's like, ew.
You can
oh, he's in
literally,
love.
if you were to walk up to somebody and cover their forehead and their mouth and nose, you could tell what emotion they are.
What emotion is this? I'm mad. So, do you have one more for your A tier? Because I'm about to get my S tier with my top 4.
I have...
You have one more. You haven't mentioned.
Did I talk about this one?
No.
Did I talk about this one?
Yes.
Did I talk about this one?
Actually, I don't think so.
I don't think I talked about any of these 3 because I was going in order.
Oh, were you? Alright, then go ahead.
Okay, so I'm about to... So...
How do you have so many more than me?
Because of like these two, I didn't.
Because of how we messed them up.
Yeah, because of how we messed them up.
Go ahead.
Anyway, I have 3 more in my A tier that I'm
Go
going
through
to
your
go
3
through
and then
really
we'll do our
fast,
4.
and then we'll meet up on our S tier. Because we both have 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And our S.
So this is my 7th from the top, and it's Toy Story 3. Personally, I would have put this one higher just because of my love for it, because I feel like it was a great way to just, it was like the end of an era. They did a really great job of wrapping up, like, okay, Andy's grown up, the toys are more mature, they realize like their purpose isn't really much anymore, and then you have that iconic end scene where they're all about to go into the incinerator and they're all just like holding on to each other.
I cried.
I bawled like a baby.
I was sitting there in the movie theater, and I don't know if you can relate. You lads out there watching this, I know you can. When you don't want to cry in front of someone, but you kind of have to, so you're like
you're like just sitting there and you're like holding in your breath. You're like
you can't move, because if you do, broken down.
Tears.
Good.
No, but I understand. But that's just like, that movie just had so many beautiful things about it. It was so wonderfully made, like the aspects of back almost in like the beginning of the first movie when Buzz is like, I'm a spaceman, and he thinks that he's an actual space ranger, and then when in the third one he gets reset and he just speaks Spanish. That was like a really good like touch to me.
Scene.
Like that
Great
was a
scene.
great touch, because it was like, oh, okay, here we are at what we thought was the end until they came out with the 4th one, and it's like, oh, look at Buzz is back at his beginnings, except in Spanish, and it's like, okay, this is really cute. And then at the end, when Andy gives all his toys to the little girl, the girl, I think her name's Bonnie. I could
It's
be.
Bonnie, yeah.
It is Bonnie.
I'm
okay.
pretty sure. If we're wrong, someone in the comments
somebody
will.
just correct us. But that was just like a really sweet touch, because you saw her and you were like, yeah, you know, Andy's probably gonna give his toys to her. And then when he does, and they like drive off, and they're just, and Woody's all like.
You know, I actually didn't see that part coming. Him giving him to Bonnie. I thought Bonnie was only there to be filler and help Woody go back.
No, I completely felt like, since the mom, like, I wouldn't have guessed that if the mom wouldn't have like showed up at the daycare. When the mom came to the daycare and was like giving her toys, I was like, Andy's definitely.
I'll talk about, mine is in my top 4, obviously, from not mentioning it. So I'll talk some more about like my thoughts on it, but I just didn't see that part coming.
Oh. Next, I have Cars, and the reason why Cars is so high on my list is for one reason only.
Love is a
No.
That's the scene.
That is the scene.
Like, you know where the Mack truck's going at night, he's like, dun, 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 dun.
And the little cars come around and they're just like,
And they're just being absolute assholes.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to those little cars. You guys are
Y'all are the real stars of that movie. But it was just because of like.
They tried to kill him.
Yeah, they did.
Like, making him fuss.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I grew up watching NASCAR with my family.
You remind me of that Vine where he's like, there's only one race. The
Human
human
race.
race. What about NASCAR?
It's just like I grew up watching that with my family, and I know that I've like brought my family into a lot of these like scenarios, but that's like a big thing for me is like,
It's a big thing for Pixar.
I didn't watch a lot of movies growing up with my family, so the ones that I did, I'm like, beautiful. And so Cars, it was like I watched NASCAR with my family, so when this came out, we all just kind of bonded over it, and we were like, damn, Earnhardt Jr. is in this movie.
Great.
But it was just like, the whole theme with like the cars and the real, you see them as real people, it was just a cool thing to me. It was just something unique. You didn't really
I
see
think it was
coming.
before Pixar became kind of predictable about how they were gonna do their like stories and giving certain things feelings, you know?
Yeah.
And like when they were like, this is Cars, if they were alive, people were like, oh.
Yeah, it was just something like nobody really thought of it. Like toys, okay, cool. Like, oh, monsters in the closet, okay, cool. Bugs. We all looked at bugs when we were literal and we'd be like,
I guess, yeah, sure. Yeah, we all did that. Oh god. Go on.
But yeah, that was just something cool to me. And then my top of the A tier is the original Toy Story. Just because it was Toy Story.
I understand.
That was one of the first movies I watched as a kid, like a Pixar movie.
I understand that.
And it was just like, so it was so good. Like I don't even know why. It was just one of those iconic like Pixar movies. Again, like I said for a couple other ones, it's
iconic.
It's iconic.
See, the thing is, I tried to remove nostalgia as much as possible ranking these, and I think when you look at it, like, kind of Pixar as a universe, Toy Story, it's almost superficial in their feelings towards Andy. The really own, like, identity crisis that comes up is Buzz being like, I'm a toy.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's a cool one, because at the end, we're all kind of toys of the Illuminati. So, I kind of understand how he feels. So anyways, we're moving into our top 4. We're
and
deep in this video
ours
now.
are like borderline polar opposites.
Oh yeah.
Not one of ours are the same. Like a lot of
interesting.
these we found some common ground on.
But these were we might fight.
We might actually end up fist fighting in this one.
So my number 4 is Monsters University, and it makes me so mad you have that at the bottom of your B. Because see, here's the thing about Monsters University, right? It's the exact opposite of my problem with Monsters Inc. Because we see every aspect of their friendship develop. Mm-hmm. Everything that they go through and that they start working towards, we get to see how it impacts them. You have them both as these, like, they think of themselves as titans of scaring, where they're like, I'm the scariest, and the other one's like, I know the most about how to scare people, so we are the best. And then what ends up making them both better is A, each other, and B, the Uzma Kappas. Mm-hmm. The entire story of Uzma Kappa and how they were just such rejects and being able to find their place in the world, that is touching, lovable, and amazing. It is just...
Speaking of rejects in the fraternity sorority life, please join Tri Sigma.
Whatever. This is not here for you to advertise. It's here for me to talk about Monsters University and why I like it so much. I got little anchors on mine, but I don't think the camera can see it. So anyways, Monsters University, one of the things that it keeps it from being higher in mine is just that, like, there's a lot of fan service, which can be a really good thing. There's a lot of moments that, like, once you've watched Monsters Inc. and you've, like, grown up and knowing it, when you see it, you're like, ah, nice. Like, Randall has glasses and he takes them off and he does that little squint. And that's where I was just like, nice. But by the end, when the Abominable Snowman's coming in and he's the director of the mailroom and he's like, don't mess with the mail, that's punishable by exile. And he, like, leaves. I was like, no. I get it.
I get it!
Like, it was supposed to be like that, but for me in the theater, I was just like, oh. But see, now the thing is, like, they were like, the Abominable Snowman? Oh my god, we're terrified of him in the movie. And then they see him, and they work for him. So they clearly know him. So why did they forget him? Oh, you're right. That exile, gone. Memory gone. Napoleon who? Born to party. Alright, go ahead with your 4th.
My 4th is Inside Out. Because, so, basically the premise of this is, like, this is how I take it. And you, like, said stuff about this earlier.
Yeah, of course.
Basically how I take it is when you're a kid, it's very hard, like, I don't remember being anything but, like, somewhat happy or content with my life when I was a kid.
What's that like?
Like, as a kid, you run around, you play, you do your thing, you don't really worry about the future or anything like that, and you don't care about that kind of stuff as a kid. In most cases. I get there's special cases out there, but for most kids, it's like you just worry about when you're going to play outside next, what snack you're going to have, when is nap time if you're that young. Like, those are the things you worry about. You aren't worried about, like, I'm moving from Minnesota to San Francisco, and I'm sad about it. And it basically just shows, like, how kids have to deal with different emotions in different situations. It's something that I would, like, show a kid if, like, they were moving. I'd be like, so this might be how you feel.
And it's okay.
There's no need to be upset or stress out or lash out because of your emotions. And it just shows how, like, as you get older, and I guess it kind of has something to do with the fact that she's, like, at the age where she might be going into, like, puberty and all the hormones.
Yeah, because they get that little button and you're like, what is it? Puberty?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, It's just,
It's good.
that's how I see it, and that's why I put it so high, because I was like, this is, as a psychology major,
Same.
I just watched it and I was like, huh.
Now, I will say, my mom is a guidance counselor. Mom, if you're watching this, you're welcome for your shout out. But she's mentioned so often how it's a good movie to show for kids to understand their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if me as a kid watching that would understand my own emotions better. Welcome back to the channel. We have no clue where that cut off. Hopefully they heard my Toy Story 3 rant.
Oh my god.
Because otherwise not. Just in case, my number 4 was Monsters University. 3 was Nemo. 2 was Toy Story 3 because I was about to go to college, so it hit different.
My was number 4, Inside Out. Number 3, A Bug's Life, strictly for the nostalgia of it being the first Pixar movie I ever saw. And Coco, because it really got me there, because I did not realize that the grandfather was not who the grandfather was, and it really got me. It got me good. So number 1.
So our number 1s. Mine is Cars 3. I know you haven't seen it, but I'll tell you why Cars 3 is the best Pixar movie by far. It is something that every single person will have to experience in their life. Because there's this movie about wrestling. I love wrestling, as you know. But it's so hard to make a good movie about wrestling because everyone's like, well, you don't want to make it too fake. You kind of want to be in, and you want to be able to engage in it. There's this one called The Wrestler. And what makes The Wrestler special and why it's good is because the guy is getting too old. And he can't do it anymore, but he doesn't want to give up. Just like Lightning McQueen. All this stuff going forward and advancing, there will be a time where you're like, oh my god, like, time's really leaving me behind. And it might be something where people in like high school are like, oh my god, I'm finishing high school, I'm about to graduate. I'm never going to see these people again, I don't want to leave or anything like that. Or it's when you're in your actual career and you're like, I can't keep up. Like, I can't keep going. And that's something that every single person's going to have to experience, and every single person can already relate to how it feels. Like, watching it, you're like, oh, man, that would be so tough. Like, imagine you're the top of Tri Sigma. Then all of a sudden, all these freshmen are like, hey, we're taking over. And you're seeing you, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this. You know? But you're going to have to feel that. You're going to have to experience it. It's like, so I've been the president of Alpha Sig now for 2 years. Coming up on where I've been doing the unofficial duties since my freshman year is my junior year, so math. I don't even know how it works. But, like, I can't be the president next year, my senior year. Which means I'm going to have to just step back and be like, that's y'all's. You got to do it. And then at that point, I'm going to be Lightning McQueen. I am Speed. And then I'm going to leave. And that's why Cars 3 is my number 1 Pixar movie. Oh, God.
My number 1 is Up. Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Okay? Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because there's so many stories. Okay? You have Carl, who lost the love of his life, and now he's trying to figure out how to live without her.
Rest in peace, Ellie. If you're
Rest in
watching
peace,
this.
Ellie. There's Russell, who just wants to be the best that he can be to try and get at least a little recognition from his family. Or at least, I believe, his dad.
Yeah.
It's like, he's trying to get that recognition and trying to just make his family proud. Then there's Doug, who's the underdog, underappreciated.
Underdog.
Literally. And it's just like, he's looked down upon and not given the same love and affection as his other dog companions, and he's just like not the cool kid. And then there's Kevin, who's just iconic, and he's just trying to live his best life. She is just trying to live her best life while getting hunted, and she's just trying to live free in her stupid little mind. God bless Kevin.
God bless Kevin, and God bless Lightning McQueen. But honestly, I hate Jackson Storm. That's the young upstart. There's so much more in Cars 3 that's good that I'm not gonna go into and talk about because I've said enough. But
yeah,
what a movie! That's it. Woo! This is gonna be such a long video for me to edit, but we do it for you because we love you. You can put this on when you're falling asleep. Fall asleep to those smooth voices. Go to sleep. I don't know the words after that. Do you just keep saying go to sleep?
Go to sleep, little
subscribers. Well, guess there's only one thing to do at this point. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you subscribe, comment down below, follow us on the Instagram, leave a like or a dislike. Honestly, just let us know how you feel. We're kind of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. But besides that point, make sure you also listen to 97.1, the smoothest jazz in the upstate. Read the Blue Stocking, read Figs and Thistles, check out everything down below. And most of all, thank you for watching.